Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and I've been on YouTube making videos for 5 years. That is a long time. And to celebrate, I'm going to look back. Once again, like I did a few years ago. You can go check out those special videos if you want. They're under specials. I did a little bit of a retrospective of my channel up until that point. It's kind of interesting and actually a little bit heartfelt. But in a similar vein, I wanted to do commentaries on all of my stuff, but my stuff doesn't really lend itself to commentaries. I can't commentate on a still picture of me commentating on the state of a network. That doesn't really work too well. So instead of doing a direct commentary track, basically, I'm going to do playlists. This one's going to be the Cartoon Network rant playlist, because Cartoon Network was my very first rant, and I've already done a series of commentaries on Animal Crossing Abridged, so there's no point in doing that. Basically how this is going to work is that I'm going to put up a title card of the name of the episode that I just watched. I'm going to watch them, and then I'm just going to talk about the episode. Now, a lot of my older stuff is incredibly rough, so this will be particularly painful for those of you who like seeing me in pain. I'm also incredibly hard on myself when it comes to my old stuff. If I had it my way, I would take these videos down, but people would complain and complain, so I can't. Anyway, let's start this shenanigans. Here we go, the first Cartoon Network rant, and my first rant ever. Ow. Ow. That hurt. It's been probably 4.5 years since I've seen that. Ooh, man, what was wrong with me? At least I almost got my catchphrase right. I said, "Hi guys, PIEGUYRULZ here." But yeah, I mean, basically, I mumble through a bunch of lines, which I guess I still do that now, but there's a lot more ums. I never edited any of them out back then like I do now, and I'm not as comfortable in front of the microphone, I suppose, because I start talking like this, like I'm not really an adult. I was a teenager, and I had hit puberty by the time that happened, although you wouldn't know it by watching that video. I've seen a lot of kids try to do rants, and I, I mock them a little bit, not to their face or in the comments or anything, but I just think, wow, that's really unprofessional. And now I see this, and yeah, this is bad. And I cut to clips that are just me holding a video camera filming the clips. I make some decent points. I make good points about Out of Jimmy's Head. I stand by what I said there. It's a stupid show. Same thing with Fried Dynamite. But the analogies I try to make, I don't know what I was trying to do. Like, maybe I was thinking I was the angry video game nerd or something. But my comedic timing, you can tell I had good ideas. I wasn't able to execute them. I didn't know what I was saying, I guess. And the editing is awful, and it's just, my microphone was awful. It is painful to watch. How can any of you watch this? How did any of you find me by watching that video? You poor, poor people. And I really don't think it's gonna get much better from here. Oh no. Manga? I seriously called it manga? What was wrong with 2008 Pie Guy? Seriously, can I go back in time and hit that guy? Because that is just cray-cray. But yes, this was my rant on TOONAMI, which is kind of unfortunate because it ended fairly soon after that rant. And yeah, I was explaining in the video why the latest version of TOONAMI sucked at the time, the jungle version, and that's what got it canned most likely, because Cartoon Network turned it into just a Naruto spewing awful, short, annoying jungle block, which is nothing of what it used to be. But yeah, I don't know at what point in my life that I learned that maybe I should get clearer pictures that don't look incredibly fuzzy. I think what I was doing was just ripping them right from Google search instead of like actually clicking on the picture and getting a nice quality image of it. So not only am I copyright infringing, but I'm doing so in a very ugly way. Like, I think my eyesight has worsened because I had to stare at that for 10 minutes of all those different pictures. And some pictures were of random books, random manga, like just random chapters. Like I just must have done a Google search and just picked whichever one came first. And a lot of those shows that I talked about, I hadn't seen. Prince of Tennis, I've never seen it in my life. The concept still sounds stupid, but seeing as I've never seen the show, I can't say for better or worse. Never seen Justice League Unlimited. I've never seen a few shows that I kind of like fudge an opinion for in the video. Yeah, once again, my PIEGUYRULZ is not fixed in this video. I don't know at what point it will be, but I very hope it's soon. Because that is really annoying. I can't even listen to me for 10 minutes. How can any of you? Oh man, and I can't take myself seriously, and that is just weird. Let's go to the next video. Alright, there is some improvement here. My announcer radio voice is getting a little bit better. It's still definitely shaky, but I'm a little bit louder and a little bit more confident. The theme here works alright. I mean, to be completely honest, I had forgotten about some of these blocks, and hearing me talk about it did remind me. However, I'm pretty much plagiarizing off of Wikipedia in the video. Anytime you hear me use like a fancy word that sounds really out of place, I'm pretty much reading or couldn't think of a better word or better way to summarize what I'm reading off of Wikipedia. That's really sad. But hey, at least there's only a few fuzzy pictures and mostly just text. Again, it's an improvement, but it's not a very big improvement, and I mentioned using the word prolong, that these shows should be prolonged. I guess I was kind of using that word correctly, but at the same time, whenever I think of prolonged, I think of like a bad thing, like you're prolonging the inevitable. But yeah, pretty much this was Wikipedia article, the video. But there were some neat ideas about talking about all these blocks, and yeah, I can see myself getting a little bit better with each progressive video. This one was pretty painful too. Basically, I'm just like praising the old cartoons and whining about the new ones. And look, Dexter's Lab is a great show and all, but I don't think I'd call it the best show on Cartoon Network. And Johnny Bravo's cool too, but I don't know why I picked that over the other cartoons. And of course, Chop Socky Chooks. I can't even say it, man. Of course, that was a stupid show, but I hadn't seen it at the time, so I really wasn't in any position to actually talk about it. Yet I did. And the comparisons I made are really weird. I start comparing, like, elements of one show to the other, and they're clearly two very different shows. That's just weird. And then I drag out the outro for way too long, and I forget which part is the next part, and like I'm stumbling, and I forget about something, and I'm trying to remember it on camera, and I don't edit it out, and ooh. I do mention the fact that I'm not that angry in the video, because again, I apparently think I'm the angry video game nerd, but I say that maybe by part 7 I'll be really angry, and wouldn't you know it, part 7 is the one about live action shows. This one was actually really good. I mean, the quality was still pretty bad. I still spoke horribly, didn't edit out mistakes, and fumbled over my words, but other than that, the actual contents was pretty good, because this was the time in Cartoon Network's history. This is like the darkest point, because all of the shows that replaced the cartoons, all of the decent to relatively good shows like Camp Lazlo, My Gym Partner's a Monkey, stuff like that, were ending. And they had their stupid thing where they did the fall is just something that grown-ups remember thing. That was the theme of the network at the moment, that one stupid song that they played way past fall. Yeah, it was a very awkward time for Cartoon Network, and I guess a good time to be ranting. So, yeah, the content is actually pretty good in this one, but again, very unprofessional. Surprisingly, I said that this was going to be the last time I ever talked about Cartoon Network, unless I had something that I missed. Let's see what that was that actually brought me out of that retirement. This one was a major step up. Part of it has to do with the fact that the first 5 of them were made within like 2 months. This one was made in December of 2008, so I probably had more time to work on it, and I got away from it for a little while. My microphone seems to be different. I don't know if it's necessarily better. I think I was using the built-in microphone at this point. Before I was using the microphone in my video camera, which is why you could hear the discs spinning around. If you heard noises in the first 5 parts and some of my other earlier videos, that's what that was, which is really distracting and irritating. I'm still flubbing lines and not actually editing them out, but whatever. There's some funny bits in this, and it's kept relatively short. It's only 6, close to 7 minutes. I had an idea for an outro that I used for a little bit. That was actually a cool outro. It was a weird picture of me with a sword and a lightsaber and my Canadian beer helmet, and it had my logo, and my logo changed colors, which was cool. I had a logo for a little while. I should actually bring that back, maybe. But anyway, the video was pretty good. It talked about how stuff is ending and how the NOODs, those little blob things that I could never describe in the video, the white faceless guys, that whole branding campaign happened, and how it was pretty cool. It wasn't as cool as actually having the characters, but they did a lot of funny things with that, and I think that's a very overlooked promotional area. And I talked about how some cartoons are ending, and I was a little bit all over the place, but I liked this one. This one it felt very very put together, I suppose. Very much. There were moments where I got angry and I was able to speak really fast, which is something that I pride myself in my videos, that I can both get very angry and speak very fast without flubbing lines, at least not, flubbing lines that much, especially when these videos are entirely off the cuff, both my old ones and my new ones relatively. I don't have a script. So yeah, this is definitely a video where I'm coming out into my own here. And hopefully that will continue to the next one. I think it will. I remember this video, partially. I remember making it a little bit because it was the first and only time that I was like, what if I found pictures and clips that matched everything that I said? And I did it, and the video looks nice. I can't monetize it, but it looks nice. I still flub my lines quite a bit. I mean, there's at least a little bit of audio editing, but not very much. To be fair, I was using Windows Movie Maker still, so, editing stuff like my audio was like a no-go. You couldn't get precise edits, which is why I had, overlapping lines at one point. But, yeah, this one was alright. It talks about seeing real. The big problem is I didn't watch any of these shows. And, yes, you could tell they're stupid from 6 miles away, but today, I pride myself on the fact that at least I would watch an episode and then complain about how horrible they were. I remember this one, too. We're getting to more recent times, and by more recent, I mean 3 years ago as opposed to 5 years ago. But still, yeah, this one could have used from some editing. I go a lot. I restate things a few times. However, I make a good point, and I think this is one of the turning points that I really start to look to, I could be here and I can whine about, this show's bad, that show's bad. I could not watch the episodes and complain about them, but I really thought, what is an actual problem here? What is going on, psychologically with this network? What has actually changed? It's not just the shows. It's not just the programming blocks. It's not just the network ID. There is a state of mind that the network has changed. There was a point where it was a network for cartoons, and that's what it was. It wasn't a network for kids. That was Nickelodeon. Cartoon Network's deal was that it showed cartoons. Eventually, they decided to air their own cartoons, and then things got turned more childlike from there. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there really isn't that many kids' networks out there, or there wasn't. But you did lose something along the way, and I don't know if everyone realizes it. It took me a while to realize it. I never thought of it like that, in a way where they weren't pandering to children. And it really does show in the video that I mention. It's a video of Barbera talking about classic cartoons and how it really wouldn't interest kids, but it would interest cartoon enthusiasts. It would interest adults that maybe grew up with those cartoons, or anyone who just wanted to watch a cartoon, so they turn on the Cartoon Network. There is a big shift there that is definitely apparent. Also, I mentioned that I'm going with a white background for monetization reasons. It took another 2 years before I was actually able to monetize anything thanks to a bug in YouTube's system. But yeah, the whole white background thing, I'm glad that didn't last. Because although I will say people watch me mostly to listen to me, there does need to be something visual on the screen, and the more I can do of that, the better. I try not to go overboard, because the more I work on that, well, the more videos get delayed, when really it's not that much of a difference. But at the same time, I realize that it is an important component to at least put something on the screen, even if it's just one still image that's changing colors or zooming in or out or something like that. And I thank Darkheart Haven for making me that awesome title card that I still use for some of my rants.
Okay, so this is my first supplementary, the concept being that I would basically revisit a video that I had already talked about and kind of make some more points based upon the comments I was getting, based upon if I had any new ideas, based upon that sort of thing. And the reason why I don't do this anymore much, I still occasionally, it's just I put more work into my videos. I try to get everything out in one go. I try to make sure I've got it all wrapped up in a nice little package, and I say everything I wanted to say. I try to make sure I do that the first time through. And then the second reason is that I mean, it's a little bit of nitpicking over comments and rebuttaling things. And I'm not, I don't really care if everyone agrees with me per se. But occasionally, I'll say, my videos are opinion pieces, and then someone will post a comment, and it's not necessarily that I want to prove them wrong or anything, but I just kind of want to have that debate, They made me maybe think of something new, maybe think of a new way to argue my point. It's not like I have anything against these people for having other opinions. It's just, I've always been a person who debates things, and that's part of what my channel kind of is that it's my opinions, and then in the comments, I encourage you guys to post your opinions. Sometimes they might piss me off. Sometimes, they're really annoying opinions that aren't based upon educated fact, which are really irritating. But, I mean, hey, opinions are opinions and whatever. But yeah, that's why I don't really do this. Although, I could still do a supplementaries. I don't know. I would rather kind of get it right the first time, I guess, than go back and try and fix it. Also, my microphone here was awful, and I'm just so mumbly, and I'm so like, ugh, I don't like these old videos.
Wow, so that video was kind of similar to what I do now. My microphone was still pretty crummy. I think I was using my PC's built-in mic still, either that or my Mac's built-in mic. But I peaked it definitely. I started yelling and got really angry. That is probably one of the angriest I've ever been. But yeah, I had a point. That rebrand was really bad, and like I said, this is the dark time for Cartoon Network, like the 2008 to 2000, maybe 10, 9, something like that. There was a few years in there that were really bad. I mean, say what you want about, 06 and 07, about how a lot of the shows were kind of forgettable and how the city bumpers weren't that amazing, but it got worse from there. It definitely did. It's kind of ironic that I say that I'll see you guys in the next Cartoon Network rant, because there really isn't another normal Cartoon Network rant. There's two kind of special rants that are in the playlist and I will talk about. But I guess I should mention why I'm not doing these anymore. Because I pretty much still do rants. I just, review individual episodes and talk more specifically instead of just vaguely listing off things that I hate in general. These rants, the problem with them is that it's just me one-taking, just talking about all sorts of problems across the board. I'm not focused in any way, shape, or form, and oftentimes I haven't seen the stuff, which is bad form for me. So, yeah, they live on, just in a different form, but I have officially ended the Cartoon Network rant line, if you want to say that. Wow. So, I end this video saying that I'm cautiously optimistic because Cartoon Network starts to release DVD box sets and they're starting to have some decent content, like Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and that they're trying new things, and yeah, that's actually pretty cool because that was the last kind of Cartoon Network rant, official sort of side rant type thing that I had because, yeah, Cartoon Network got a lot better from there. They still haven't released that many more DVDs outside of the first seasons of some shows, which kind of sucks, but yeah, there was a major change in the network at that point, and I guess that's a good way to end the rant series. But yeah, there's one more I have, which is a special. It doesn't really count, but I put it in the playlist at the end just because. But yeah, by this point in the rants, they haven't been particularly perfect. There still could definitely be some editing involved, but my opinion has gotten clearer, my speaking voice has definitely gotten better, even my equipment got a little bit better, although the microphone was still kind of cruddy. But yeah, it's really been interesting to see myself grow like this over the span of, maybe an hour or two. It's really weird, actually. Anyway, on to the last video. Okay, so the special was pretty much just a promotion for my friend, who's got the 90s Cartoon Network channel. You can see it in the features channel box on my channel. He basically posts all of these old bumpers and stuff, and not only does he post the old Cartoon Network bumpers, he even has a bunch of montages of, like, some bumpers and commercials and little bits at the time. So he does really good work, and you should definitely go check him out. And yeah, that's pretty much all that video was. And I did show one of the clips from one of his videos. Yeah, it's really cool. Something embarrassing about that video was that I mentioned Operation Time Capsule, which was a website that collected a bunch of Cartoon Network bumpers, and actually one of the first ways that I got to rewatch these bumpers. I just made a comment about they didn't have that many bumpers, when really they did. What I meant was that they don't really update that often, and yeah, I can't even find the website anymore. But they did comment to me saying that, they have a lot of bumpers and that their time has been slipping. So that was a little bit embarrassing. If they are watching, they did great work, and cataloging all those bumpers like that was really cool, and I give them a thumbs up. But yeah, if you really want to watch any of the bumpers that I've been talking about, you can search YouTube. They kind of have to be buried a little bit, because if they weren't, then they might get copyright flagged, as some of them have. But if you search hard enough, you can find them. So yeah, that's about it. This has been my journey through this. Join me next time when I will journey through the Nickelodeon rants. Not looking particularly forward to that either. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. PIEGUYRULZ, out.
Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe if you liked me, like this video if you, like this video, and comment if you have an opinion on anything that I just said. Oh, and I also have a Twitter. Follow me at PIEGUYRULZ. I usually respond to any comments or questions that I get. PIEGUYRULZ, out.